Hello. In this short video, I'm going to show you how to use the BSRLM template to write the proceedings from your conference presentation. The first thing you'll need to do is open the template you've been sent. You'll then need to save it with the first author surname, BSRLM, and the date of the conference. Once this is done, you're ready to start working on your paper. Please note that the header and the footers have already been put in place, ready for publication, so these shouldn't be altered in any way. The first thing you'll want to do is start with the title of your paper. The very easiest way to do this is simply to type on top of the template that's already been given to you. Note that we're using sentence case, so only capitalise the first letter. You can then type in the author names and institutions in the places that are given. This template has been set up using styles in Microsoft Word, which means that every part has already got the formatting required, so you won't need to change the fonts, the font size, or any other aspect of the formatting because it's already embedded. As long as you type directly on top of the template, everything will be ready for you. As you'll note, when I move my cursor down here, my styles has moved to affiliation because that is the right format to be using for this section of the paper. Now this is absolutely fine, but it might be that you've already written parts of your paper elsewhere and you don't really want to write the whole thing out again, and that's completely understandable. So for example, when I get down to my abstract, I may well have written my abstract somewhere else on a separate document. Now the tendency here is to highlight the piece you want, to copy it either through the copy symbols or Control and C on keyboard, and then to paste it into the template. The problem with doing this is that that will introduce a new style. So if I do just do a paste here, it's already not in the right style. And if I go into my styles menu, you'll see there's a new style being introduced, and I don't want that. I want to keep my 12 BSRLM styles. So I'm not going to do that, but I can still use that copied text. All I need to do with the cursor in the correct place, rather than just do a control and paste, is to paste text only. And this will paste and keep the right style. And you'll see now that the style that's been selected is BSRLM abstract. Do make sure there's any little bits like this at the end, you remove them, otherwise you'll have a strange piece on the end. But I can do exactly the same now for all parts of my paper. So some bits you might want to type things directly in, whereas other parts you might want to copy and paste. Both work, but do make sure whenever you're copying and pasting. So let me go to my first section here. I'm going to go back to my paper I've already written, and I want to use this as my title. So I can copy that and be ready to paste it in, but rather than a direct Control V or paste, all I'm going to do in the place I want it, cursor in the right place, and I'm going to paste text only. That makes sure that the styles that are embedded in the template remain the same. And that applies throughout the whole paper. So I can paste things in for my paragraphs, any quotations, if I've got subheadings or subheadings, to make sure that those styles all remain the same. If I do find I need to change something that I've pasted in, so let me put in a piece of text so we can see what happens. So let's say, for example, I've got this, and I do put that into the template, and I do accidentally introduce a new style that I don't want. Actually, that's taken in the old style because it's used to what I'm pasting now. But let's say I do when I want to change this. All I need to do is highlight the text I want to apply a style to and select the appropriate style by clicking on it. So if it was actually the affiliation, I would click on that. If it was actually the references, I would click on that section, and it will put the correct style in for me in whichever format I need it. So please do use those styles to help you. They're there so that you don't need to manually change all of your formatting. And the same applies all the way through your paper. At the very end of the paper is a references section. The title's already there, so it doesn't need to be changed, and you can put your references straight in. Again, If you're going to paste them in, do make sure that you've pasted the text and then you've got the correct formatting style. We do use APA 7th now with our formatting, so you will need to check that your actual references themselves, not just the text style in terms of font and size, but the actual things you've included in the reference are correct for APA 7th. And you'll find the guidance of that in the guidance document that you've been sent. So the guidance document looks like this, and towards halfway through the paper there are some green boxes which give examples of the different types of references you might have, whether that's a journal article, a book, a website, etc. So do use those to make sure they're correct. In particular, note that for any books, we don't have a place of publication anymore. So no London's or New York's, it's just the publisher name. And equally for websites, there's no longer a retrieval date, just the actual web page address. So going back to the template, once that's all in place, you should have everything following the correct format. And again, you can check by clicking on the sections you've written and checking that when you do go to those, you have indeed got one of the BSRLM titles. You haven't got anything saying things like normal or quote or anything else that's been brought in. Only those 12 styles should remain in the template.